What's up? Thank you for tuning in to another short devotion. Today we're going to be talking about how deep is your love. All of this starts with a story that happened in the Gospels when Jesus was at this dinner party. They were sitting there enjoying some nice grub, and this woman interrupts. She crashes the party, and she takes this bottle of perfume and just dumps it on Jesus's feet. We know from John chapter 12, verse 5, that this particular bottle of perfume cost 300 denarii, which is equivalent to 1 year's salary. So let's say here in the United States, let's say the average year salary, maybe 30,000 more. So this bottle of perfume is in the ballpark at like $30,000, maybe $40,000, depending on what a year's salary would be considered the equivalent from that time to this time. But Jesus didn't stop her. Jesus let her do it. Just dumped all that perfume on his feet and began to wash his feet with her hair and her tears. And we see in Luke chapter 7, verse 39, that Jesus's willingness to let this type of action or response or demonstration of love to occur brings some criticism to him. And the host of this party was actually criticizing Jesus to himself, thinking that if Jesus was as smart or as holy as people say he is, then he would know that this woman was just a piece of trash. I mean, very condescending and ugly to this woman. So he wouldn't let this woman touch him if he knew or if he was as holy as everybody says. Well, Jesus turns to this guy and said, I know what you're thinking, but you got to realize this woman has treated me better than even you as a host. And he hits on some traditions of that day as far as providing your guests with an opportunity to clean their feet because of the dusty streets and the sandals, stuff like that. And apparently this guy didn't do any of that, but this woman has just gave Jesus's feet like a $30,000 bath. And the guy says, this woman that you're looking down on is actually showing you up. And Jesus says there's a reason that's happening. Because when you're forgiven much, you love much. But if you're only forgiven a little, then you love a little. And this quote has always caught my attention because when we're looking at us here at the church, and there's been times where people in the church, including myself, have been critical or condescending or even ugly to other people, and we look at them and we're offended and disgusted at their behavior and their choices and who they are, and we look at them and we make comments that are just ugly and inappropriate. And I wonder if Jesus is telling us that, hey, if you understood the forgiveness you received, if you understood how vast that forgiveness was and how rotten you were and how much overwhelming sin had to be washed away because of Jesus and his sacrifice to make us pure and holy before God again. If you realize how huge that forgiveness was, then your love for these people would shine. It would be so much easier for you to be kind, gracious, gentle, merciful, loving. Because if you had an understanding of the forgiveness you received, then that love is going to flow so much more naturally out of you than if you don't understand it. But then another thought occurs, and this thought is more sobering and troubling. Maybe Jesus' words are a warning. Maybe he's pointing out, hey, as good and wonderful as you think you are, Maybe he's warning us that if we are not loving all people, then maybe we're not forgiven at all. Maybe if we don't have lives of grace and gentleness and forgiveness, it's because we haven't experienced the love of Christ, the forgiveness of Christ. Either way, if you see these elements in your life where you're condescending, you're hateful, you're critical, people actually discuss you, then you need to get along with Christ. And you need to either work with him to understand the vastness of the forgiveness you receive, or work with him to make sure that you have received that forgiveness at all. Because when you receive that forgiveness, when you understand that forgiveness, the greatness is supposed to overflow in love and mercy and kindness and compassion and forgiveness, just as God's grace covered you. So if you got something to pray about, something you want to talk about, give us a holler. First Baptist Honey Path, look us up. We'd love to hear what's on your heart, pray with you. And I understand this stuff isn't easy. It's hard to love people. It's hard to forgive people. But Jesus did it for us. And Jesus went through great lengths and great sacrifices as far as what he went through here on earth, and in the trials and in the torture and in the crucifixion. He did that for our forgiveness. And now through our gratitude and our love and our worship of him, we take what he's given us and give it to others. It's not easy, but it's worth it, because we have a God who is good and a God who treated us far beyond what we deserve. So it's an act to worship to him, to treat other people far beyond what they deserve, because Jesus deserves it. And we do it to worship and honor him. Thank you again for tuning in. Look forward to talking to you soon.